having a disability is a superpower. It's your own unique superpower about yourself that shows that you can kind of grow, kind of have an understanding of what's going on around you, but everyone processes things in their different ways and their different speed. For example, guys, I stutter a lot, and I can admit that I can come on the internet and say I stutter a lot. Welcome back, guys. So this is obviously a brand new podcast, guys. Today we're going to be discussing about just life, how it is going. Obviously, I have a special member that will be coming through that I have invited as my first member of the podcast. Obviously, I'm going to have more podcasts in the future, which I would obviously love you guys to check out. I'm just trying to start off, help out other young people around me to just, I guess, drive better, get better in life, things like all those types of stuff. But we could talk about anything on this podcast just to bring out to you guys as my viewers that's out there. And obviously, if you want to, you don't have to, but you can donate to this show, which it'll be streaming live on YouTube and Twitch if you want to go check them out as well. Here is my member that I've invited along.
My name is PhelRin, as it says on the show, but my name is Rinarto, as I would usually go by as my proper name, as people would like to call me, but everyone usually calls me Rin, and it's easy to pronounce. And I am here on Mighty's show, on Mighty's podcast, and I'm happy to be here.
So, in today's discussion, we're just talking about, I guess, how your life is, how your, like, what was your background growing up, kind of, like, I just want to help out on the young people that's out there around us. And obviously, like, I want them to get into something that could benefit them in the future. What things helped you when you were younger, and how? So just tell us about, if you want to, you can tell us about your background, where you grew up, and how many times it took you to get to there.
During the whole time I grew up, I remember mainly growing up in Greenwich, where I currently am now. But from what I was told from my parents, we were in Charlton for a good majority of the time, so quite still close to Greenwich, but somewhere different. We used to live in flats. Now we live in a proper home. But growing up, like school-wise, I'd say a lot different from everybody else. I'd get angry quite a bit, and I was kicked out of my first school, primary school. Then I went to a different primary school temporarily. I enjoyed it there, but I almost got kicked out of that. But then I went to another school after that, got kicked out of that one. Then proceeded to take homeschooling for about 2 years just to pass pretty basic skills. But this would have been around the time I actually started teaching myself how to code and get into some hobbies like that, and even tried to get into some fitness, but kind of gave up on fitness around that time too. It was only after I passed the homeschooling, went to another school I went to, and then went to college for a little bit, and that's when I really got into fitness, because when I first went to college, I tried studying business studies, but I didn't really have a passion for it. So when I went back to that same college again the second year, I decided to study sports, and I was really into sports during that time, and I still am. And that's kind of how I grew up. I grew up very naughty and got kicked out of a lot of schools. But I learned to code the whole way through it after getting kicked out of my secondary school.
I can tell you guys a bit about my background growing up. So obviously, like you guys know already, you might notice it as well. I have a language disorder. So I've like part of the spectrum in it. So growing up for me when I was younger, it was a bit hard for me. But obviously passing through like primary school, it was a bit hard for me. Then go up to secondary school. Obviously it was a bit hard for me. It was like a work in progress, kind of getting myself up there again, kind of building a bridge from where I was, from how I was much younger. And now I'm starting to understand a lot of things much more better now, and showing that I can drive in different topics and different areas. But obviously for me, I always knew that I wanted to do things in coding, which is like what I'm doing right now, to my job right now. I'm literally a coder, love coding. During my sixth form, I was doing a T-level course, which you guys might know about, which I would say was really fun, actually getting the experience that I needed for my day-to-day job. Kind of just growing, and I just want to show you guys that growth is always there. Just keep working hard, keep shining, keep doing the best that you can, to the best ability that you can get forward. Just keep on driving on a day-to-day basis, and you never know, one of those days could be you. So um just wanted to share a bit of background about me. But like, talk about like your life. What have are you proud of that you've achieved so far?
That's a good question because I'd say the one thing I'm proud of is starting something where a lot of people would be afraid to start something, which is my own business that I'm currently running and getting off from the ground and trying to expand over time, which is a web agency that I'm trying to start. And I am the founder of it. And right now I solo it, but I do have some help from good friends, two good friends that I know of. One of them is here as we speak today, and another one only I know, nobody else knows him. I won't say his name here, just to keep his whole sake privacy reasons. He likes to be a private person. So that's one of my many accomplishments. One of them, hopefully, is relationship-wise. I have a loving wife. Obviously, with all relationships, you got to try and get through the ups and downs, and also to prepare for a lot of arguments. That's all I gotta say. If you want to survive a relationship, just always say your wife is correct.
Yep. That's
Always say they're correct.
Yeah, just say
That's
they're
all I
always
have
correct.
to say.
That's the one big thing.
But sometimes it's hard to do whenever you know you're right and they're wrong. It's hard to do, and it's hard to get them to admit that they're wrong. But then they'll realize it later, maybe. Then
Maybe.
I think another accomplishment is, I think, fitness goals wise, even though I took a lot of on and off breaks to do that. Like, to get where I am fitness level wise, even though I'm not in the best shape, like shape wise, I'm not in shape, but the skills that I can do is impressive compared to what many people would class as being doable, which people know it's doable. People just don't try to push that far to try and do it.
You're keeping yourself in shape. You want to try to keep yourself in shape. That's like probably my goal. I need to try to get myself back into shape again, because obviously I've been slacking after slack after
I
slack.
mean, you got to keep yourself in shape. Your body's a temple. You have to look after your temple. It's kind of
Yeah.
like if you take on a car or anything of value, then you to try to look after it as best as you can to try and prolong its life.
What would you say has been like your struggles? Something that's the negative that's stopping you from doing what you need to do in life? I know it's a tough question, but take your time.
I think that struggles will be mentality. Trying to keep your mentality, trying to keep pushing for what you want to achieve, while also being held back by maybe other people and people who doubt you, especially when it comes from your own family members as well. I won't say who specifically my family, but there's someone in my family that when I tell them something, they're like, no, don't do it that way, or that's not good enough to be doing that, or what's the point of doing it? I think the whole point is trying to get round of people saying, hey, this isn't good enough, you could do better here, and then they put yourself down and try to give you doubts about yourself. So you start having self-doubts and you're like, maybe I should just stop. I think the whole point is just trying to keep pushing through that and believing in yourself rather than having others' opinion affect how you believe what you can do. If you believe you can do it, then you keep doing it. Don't let anybody else mix what you think you can or can't do.
Good quote, good quote. I like that. I like that. Yeah, I would say just make sure like no one always puts you down. Like just pick yourself up, keep driving, keep growing. You have like so much potential, like especially when you're young now. Like I would say any age has any potential to do anything that they want to do in life.
Oh, 100%. I think even a 5-year-old, if they're good at playing piano, they have all the time in the
Yeah.
world to become famous doing it.
Just obviously you want to enjoy life, live life to the fullest of the basically the best amount that you can ever do in life, innit? So obviously you said that that's been like your primarily where like your mentality. So what things are you working on to like improve that mentality in doing what you want to do? Like get yourself more out there, more dedicated to what you want to do it towards.
Having faith and just believing it will work out in the end, even even if it seems bad right now, but also not just keep pushing so hard to the point where you have no time for anything else. I think try to make time for even some necessities like keeping yourself in shape, because that's a good stress relief. Having healthy relationships with the people you want to have healthy relationships with, and maintain that, and try not to dismiss anyone who might be important to you, or dismiss anything that you should usually have time for, and just start ignoring people that you have everything for. Because the second you start ignoring people that you usually have time for and not making time for them, even though yes, you're pushing out, I think you make it aware towards that. Because if you don't, they're going to end up bringing more negativity to you than you are to them, because you make them feel like they're being ignored when you're trying to do something that will benefit you and them in the future, especially if it's a loved one of yours.
What would you give to the people that's out there that's watching this now? Like, what would you say to encourage them more?
What may seem impossible is possible with the Lord.
Are you close with the Lord?
I would like to say I'm close to the Lord. Maybe not close enough. I could always be closer. Anyone can be closer with the Lord. Even if you are a pastor, you're still trying to understand how the Lord works and Jesus dying for our sins. But I wouldn't say I'm the closest, but I'd say I have faith in him, and I do go to him with my struggles. When I could go to him more. But I say, if you believe in the Lord, have faith that anything is possible, even if it seems far-fetched or impossible.
Have you ever felt stressed in life? Stressed about something?
Oh, always. I think I've always had stress. I think I had stress when I first started coding. I was like, so many struggles when it came to coding. But then when I got good enough at it and I started making websites for people, I'm like, am I ever going to be able to find someone that I can make a website for? Like trying to get that first sell when my websites was tough and very stressful, because I was constantly emailing maybe local cafes, local barbers, local restaurants, trying to make them a website. Oh, I'll say restaurants, the worst people to deal with when you're not known in the business area. I think once you start getting known and you do offer more professional service at a higher price, restaurants do start to respect you more, but they never take you because they want something done with quality but very cheap, and it's just a hassle to deal with. So now I'm focusing on more businesses that already have a foundation going and have money to output towards their website.
Yeah.
And startups who need a serious business and possibly someone who will stick with them, which is what I do offer as an optional thing.
You also do other things than doing your website. I've seen recently over the upcoming weeks that you've been creating your own game. So I want you to tell us about a little bit about what made you desire to make games, and what's the reason?
I think it's the desire to make games. Honestly, didn't come until a lot later on. I've always had the desire since I was a kid, when I grew up on Minecraft, where you can create anything you want on Minecraft, especially in creative mode or survival mode after you play the game for a long time. And it's just been there from ages. Though the desire to make games didn't come to a lot later. I think when it was around the age of 13. 13 is when I kind of looked at coding, but I never really took it. And then 15 is when I started researching more coding, and then 16 is when I actually started getting more hands-on with coding and starting to properly learn. But the desire's always been there to make games. It's just I never properly focused on the skill set on how to make games. And I wish I did start sooner, learning how to make games at a younger age. Absolutely. But I think even in the span of 4 years, I've learned a lot on how to code and understand it properly, which websites has been a big help with. But making games, I think, has been a big help with improving my quality when making websites. But the gaming, I think, is because I have ideas that are more unique. But because they're so unique, I struggle at figuring out what will work, or if I have believers that will work, or if it's too hard to make, for example. And when I usually start making something, I usually stick to it until it's finished. So that's why I don't decide to start a lot, because if I decide to make something and it's not good, I think that's actually a big fear factor for me, and it actually might be a reason why I struggle a lot, or something that stresses me out. Is because if I decide to work on something, I'm going to work on it until it's finished.
Yeah.
when there could be another idea that I have that will work 100 times better or get 100 times more popular
Okay.
than the previous idea that I'm working on trying to perfect.
I mean, if you want to, you can give the people. Is there like a game coming out soon that we can't wait for, or is it still in the research or the making of the process? Like, if you don't mind me asking, where is it at? I'm just saying.
So the game that I do have released is on Steam already. That one's Pixel Chess Idle RPGs to anybody who's into idle games. Though a game that I'm currently working on is under development. It's a Roblox game. It's going to be a horror maze game, but I don't see that being completed for a good. I don't see that being on its full release and for a good couple months
Okay, okay.
from now. I'm saying later this year, possibly September time.
I like playing a bit of games myself as well. So obviously we can check out your games. Obviously, in the end of this podcast, I will show him what this guy does, or you can give us a summary of what you do if you would like to, and we can share it out to the people. People can check you out, and obviously, yeah, we do that. So on this segment, you got anything to ask me? What you would want to kind of know, or
I guess one question is I have to ask is, what got you into coding out of any other study that
so
you could have chosen from?
what got me into coding was okay. I would say like a little mini story about. So when I was younger, um, I've always wanted to be like trying to make my like own type of games. So I would like use like Scratch, if everyone knows what Scratch is,
Oh,
or Python.
Scratch.
I actually love Scratch, and when I was making my own games and having that knowledge of trying to create something on there was what kind of drew me towards wanting to make stuff like that. I guess making websites was another thing that I just wanted to do. I always loved coding websites. Like I think it was in like year 10. Year 10 I was coding websites, and I was just enjoying it, loving doing websites, creating something, actually having a purpose of something performing well. So that's what really drove me towards that. I guess after that, I got an apprenticeship in one of the biggest banks in the UK, which I guess kind of drove me towards that. And I guess ever since doing it, it's like being a dream, doing stuff that I love doing, actually working on the role on a day-to-day basis, and actually having fun in it, and just getting the most out of it as much as I can.
When you first started out with websites, how was that? Like when you said you started off in year 10, what specific languages was you learning during the time?
So obviously it was the basics. I done HTML, CSS, PHP, which is like a local host, kind of linking
Yeah.
your site to the local host, and after just connecting the data together, doing the databases, making sure I could use the SQL, kind of just linking them together, just making something, I guess, basic, until I start doing the much bigger things and actually start coding like more of the built-in products together.
Yeah.
So it's kind of what just kept on driving me. I just always wanted to do it, and yeah, I guess that's where it put me in ahead in life. Just always stick to your dreams, never give up on your dreams, just keep on driving on a day-to-day basis.
Was there any major hurdle for you when you like as you were growing up when trying to learn also coding as well?
I mean, if we're talking about away from the coding,
Like, away
yes,
from the coding generally, it's like any hurdles that kind of affected how like your thought process on coding, like anything maybe not too personal, but personal enough for it to be affected on how you manage coding or even work wise.
I didn't really have anything affecting me from actually doing stuff like that. I just felt like time. I didn't really have like as much time as a lot of people have right now. I seen a lot of young people, they have so much time to like do something with their like career and actually enlighten it from young. And a lot of them are just kind of wasting the potential. And I felt like when I was younger, I did waste a bit of my potential, which I could have been at a bigger hurdle as I get older. and get to a bigger stage of my life. So I would say there was a lot of big hurdles that I had to jump over, had to cross. Which yeah, in the end, everyone goes through some types of hurdles. I don't want to hear that no one's been through no hurdles, because you always stumble upon hurdles as you drive to success. That's where success is. If you don't have, if you've never had any hurdles that you bumped into, it's just showing, it will show a difference between you having success and you having like not really as much success as the person that had when they were getting stopped doing that. They can't do this. So I would say also, I didn't really have a PC when I was much younger, till like the age of 16. They really have like a computer really code on. But when I had when I had like a laptop, I was just using Scratch and using Visual Studio Code to create basic code.
Is there any regrets that you've had that of opportunities that maybe you didn't take, or opportunities you wish could have happened, or maybe a decision that you made and then you regret it, or are you happy that everything is the way it is and that everything had a purpose?
I feel like for me, how I see things is everything has a purpose in life. So everything that I do for a reason always has a purpose towards the, I guess, the structure, the way I have to do certain things different from what someone else would do. I would say, I feel like that's the perfect way to describe my life. It's just starting from young, doing the stuff, especially growing up with two brothers in the house. I have like an older sister as well. Growing up with obviously my two younger brothers. Yeah, it was hard at times because you had to share a lot of things together. We would fight, we would do all of that. But I would say it's always a part of life, the success that kind of builds the characteristics that I've grown and driven through it. So I would say it's always been a part of a new discovery.
I think that whole thing with a structure kind of reminds me of something my mother actually told me when I forgot to mention this earlier, but I grew up with autism quite high up on the chart when I was a lot younger, which we only discovered when I was around the age of 11 because we went to go and get an MRI scan done for me. So I was diagnosed with autism, though it's a lot less now. I still do have it, so I take my time to process things usually more often than not. Not because I struggle at processing, but because I struggle more at understanding emotions properly, or sometimes maybe I get too over emotional. Though when I was younger, she said when she used to take me to school, if we tried to switch paths like even slightly, even though we'd still end up at the main location, which was school, I'd end up throwing a tantrum and then throwing myself to the floor because I had a structure just sticking on that same path to get to school.
Yeah.
I was just like, I didn't know I used to do that because I was too young to remember any of that. So
Yeah.
it was wow to me.
I always say to you guys, people that have a disability out there, never feel afraid to like. I will say now, everyone's not normal. I'm gonna be so real with you. Everyone has something in their own different types of way. Um, everyone has. Maybe you might not have a disability. You might be normal, obviously, but I would say everyone has their own way of trying to express something. Never always write off someone that has a disability. Just because you're normal and they have a disability, never write them off. Be more like understanding of their terms, what they were going through and how they kind of got through in life. That's how I always try to see about things. And obviously we don't want to discourage those that haven't. I would say, like I said, I think I've heard it from teachers multiple times. It's like having a disability is a superpower. It's your own unique superpower about yourself that shows that you can kind of grow, kind of have an understanding of what's going on around you, but everyone processes things in their different ways and their different speed. For example, guys, I stutter a lot. And I can admit that I can come on the internet and say I stutter a lot. You guys would have noticed it. I go back on my words. I forget. Sometimes I forget what I'm going to say. So that's how I am. People tell me, "Oh yeah, to shut up. You stutter too much. You do this and do that." But I don't let people like that bring me down. I always try to rise up and become a better version of myself.
You had like a different outlook on that compared to me when I was younger. Because I remember I got in a fight in secondary school, and because someone called me tomato and was just kept saying it. This wasn't lunchtime. I got in a fight with them. I was the first one to throw a punch. They were taller than me. I think at this time significantly more built than I was.
Oh wow.
Though I still punched them and they punched me back. I think I was punched around the face. I don't remember.
Oh, wow.
But I kind of lashed out at them. So we got in a fight because of that. But I will say, I think with the whole maturing thing, you matured up in a different, more. Okay, I won't let it get to me. I matured in a way where I've been in a police station 3 different times.
Yeah.
Because of just how I grew up. But I think being in that police station 3 different times, all of them were like 24 hours long, probably boosted my maturity and being like, okay, there are consequences. But I was under the age of 18, so nothing really too bad affected anything crazy. But I think that taught me, like, being in a cell by myself for 24 hours, like, maybe I should stop, or maybe I should just learn to actually control before I lash out. Or anything like that, because I would lash out. I would lash out in a lot of anger and more physical violence.
Yeah, I would say it's a big if. That's all. That's how I see things. Like, if you decided to carry on in your way, what do you think would have happened to you? If
I don't think I'd be here. I think I'd be in a prison. I honestly think I'd be in a prison, but being in that station 3 times, I think that matured me a lot and also brought me to where I am today. And I decided at that point, you know what? Maybe I'm just gonna do what I'm gonna do and believe in what I'm gonna do and not let anything affect me at this point anymore. Like, now I can take as much bullying as I want, or as much kind of, not really criticism. Criticism, I believe, is good, but I think people who joke about something that you take seriously as a passion, and they're like, oh, I can do that too, but they don't show any proof that they can do it. Where if they did, I'd be like, okay, fair enough, respect, you can do it as well, fair enough. But, like, I don't get a problem with them being able to do it, but I think the people that joke that they can do it, I ask for proof and they usually disappear and then have nothing else to say, which I think that's not something that pisses me off, but disappoints me with a lot of people nowadays. They'll say something like, I can do this, it's so easy, haha, they laugh. Because you've done that something great, and they're like, "Oh, I could do this myself," and then they can't do it properly.
Yeah,
I think it's not annoying; it's just disappointing that a lot of people do that.
Okay,
Rather than being able to ask for help from professionals, like, that's why there's so many different fields and businesses where they all respect each other. There's a whole foundation where, let's say, the lead marketing manager, they're better at marketing and figuring out which audiences to target and how to market a business.
Yeah.
And they admit that the person who designs the websites, like the CTO, they're better at making websites and handling all the databases and getting everything to function on that side. They know they have to coexist and work together in order to make something functional and keep it running. While there is someone who's the big boss who pays them all and tells them how to run things, they understand that they need to run things that way, but they also make their own little management inside their community that they run with that team, because they're like, this is more efficient on how the boss wants us to do that. So everybody respects their roles because they know they're better in that field.
Yeah.
But there's people that are like, oh, I could do all of that at once. You really couldn't, because they've been doing that role their whole life. You don't have nearly as much experience. And I think that's the whole thing with, like, even jobs, because even that's why young people struggle. Because a lot of jobs nowadays, even though they've studied so hard, a lot of jobs want experience.
Yeah.
Even though a lot of jobs will say, hey, we'll train you a little bit. They still don't accept them because it's like, oh, you don't have enough experience on your resume. Even people who have made projects for their portfolio to put on their resume, even apparently they don't have enough experience, even if that site or project that they worked on is of high quality.
Yeah.